We'll start with team news then, first of all. Tony, how's everyone pulled up since Saturday?
We've got one or two little knocks and niggles, but you know, we won't know until tomorrow really whether we take a chance with one or two of them.
Matty Phillips, is he back?
Matty's getting closer, so whether he'll be part of it tomorrow, we'll have to wait and see.
How's his fitness in terms of could he start or play 45 to an hour or?
Well, like I say, I couldn't couldn't say whether he'd start or whether he'd have 45 minutes or an hour or whatever. You know, I think the best thing to do is just see if we can get him in the squad and get him travelling tomorrow.
4 points then from Manchester United and Arsenal. How do you reflect on those two games in terms of the points haul?
Well, we're delighted, to get to average 2 points a game against two of the big clubs in the league is brilliant, and we're pleased with that.
Looking ahead then to Watford tomorrow, what have you made of the job that Walter Mazzari's done?
I think they're a good side. He's been unlucky in some respects because they've had injuries, but they've got a very, very good squad of players. A lot of pace and power in the team, and they're very competitive. So we know it'll be a tough game. It'll be a different game than the last two games we've played. But that's what the Premier League is about. It's coming up against different opposition, different systems, and different strengths, and you have to deal with all of it.
And I guess when you play two of the top teams, you kind of understand that you're going to have periods of the game where you're not in possession of the football, whereas you go into a side like Watford, do you have to approach it differently? Do you expect your team to be more on the front foot?
No, we'll like I say, we'll try and do what we've done all season and play in that shape and rhythm if we possibly can. And you just hope that when you defend well enough, and when you get the ball, use the ball well enough. And we understand it'll be a tough game tomorrow. One
of Watford's biggest threats is no doubt going to be Troy Deeney. He's a name that's been linked with your side. Do you hold an interest in Troy at all?
As I've said before, I've got a lot of time for Troy. We've played in the lower leagues, come through, and it's brilliant to see him playing in the Premiership. But he's a Watford player, and I'll show Watford respect by saying he's a Watford player. And if we were going to do any business with any players, I certainly wouldn't be talking to you about him. I'd be talking to the clubs.
Do you admire the sort of man he's become since the issues he had in the past now?
Well, I think there's lots of examples in football where people, a lot of these lads are working class lads where things have happened to them in younger life, and then they've grown up, and that's what growing up is about. Is becoming more mature and more focused, and Troy's certainly done that in his life, and he's had a smashing career, and fair play to him.
And looking at the summer, is the striking department something that you're going to be looking at?
We'll be looking at everything. We've got a picture of what we need to do and what we want to do, we'll be trying to push forward if we can. If we can get the players that we want, brilliant. If we can't, then you have to have plan B.
Have you had the conversation with the owner about the sort of funds that are going to be available?
No, like I say, most probably myself and the chairman will be going out to see Mr. Lai after the Swansea game, I think, for a few days. So we'll know exactly the situation then.
I want to ask you about Ben Foster as well. It's his birthday today.
Oh, is it?
Apparently, yeah.
I hope he's brought the cakes in.
What do you make of his performance on Saturday?
Well, Ben did smashing, and he's been fantastic for us all year. A couple of the saves he made outside the box, I think, if he'd have let him in, we'd have been disappointed that they were let in. But no, he's done brilliant for us, Ben.
Where do you think his form this season ranks across his career? Is he playing the best football of his career at the moment?
Well, I was at Stoke with him when he was a young lad, and then went to Manchester United. So I didn't see a lot of him there because he didn't play. He was out on loan at Wrexham when Sir Alex bought him. And this is only the second year really he's played for me, because the first 18 months he was injured. So it's not a long period there I can say he was, he's better than this or better than that. Well, the only thing I can say is that since the injury, since he's come back, he has been very, very good for us. And
Darren Fletcher is another. I know you spoke about him a little bit at the weekend, but where are we in terms of his contract?
That's up to Darren and the football club. Nothing to do with you. No, we've offered him a contract, and we're hoping to get it sorted out. Darren seems happy enough, and we certainly want to try and get it done if we can.
How long do you think you can play at the top level for?
Well, you look at the likes of Macaulay. I think players are getting now, you know, looking after themselves better than they ever have before, and so, you know, there's a chance that their careers will last longer, and there's more, you know, scientific evidence there to prolong their careers if they're prepared to take it on board and be sensible enough with it. And Darren's certainly one of them. So, you know, how long's a piece of string?